Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, dear viewers, wherever you happen to be in the world. This is Stuart B. Fields, B for brilliance, and brilliant for you being here. I am recording another in the series of Expand Your Awareness, Increase Your Potential, allowing you to explore a variety of topics. I'm here today with Mark Hugh Sam. He is in the wonderful location of Jamaica. We'll be sharing that in just a minute. And Mark and I will be talking about consciousness and varieties. And I'll allow Mark to explain where he's going with this as well. But I would like to share that Mark and I had met uh, well over a year ago in a program that was developed by Jack Canfield, writer of Chicken Soup for the Soul and the Success Principles. And the training that we went through was an intense personal and professional development, allowing us to explore the areas of the success principles and become trainers and coaches. Is we are spreading the knowledge of how we can better ourselves. Mark has just been instrumental in my own development as well. He is in a mastermind group that I am connected to, and we meet twice a month. It is just an opportunity to continue to better ourselves and our businesses, and I've enjoyed working with him over this last year plus. Mark, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself to the viewers, a little bit about your businesses and what it is that you do, and then we'll move into the topic you'd like to share. Mark, you're on.
Stu, thank you for having me here. It's wonderful to see you yet again, and I'm thrilled to be able to share with your audience a few key distinctions that I've made recently. My background is I was a financial consultant, with a chartered accountant, financial planner, investment analyst, hedge fund manager, etc., until my life basically crashed. And then I put it back together and it crashed again. And after that, I said, you know what? It's enough that I've crashed all the time. It's now to actually see that uh, it's me who is causing all of this, and I need to change myself. And for the last year and a half, I've been on a massive road of just self-development, and that's where we met. So I'm here to share some of the things that I've learned along the way that I think is very important. And the most important thing I'm going to be sharing is what I call the missing link in self-development.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And Mark, I just want to reference maybe your background picture. Where was that taken, and where are you located?
I'm currently in Kingston, Jamaica. 7 days ago when I landed, or actually, sorry, it's now 14 days. I had to spend the first 4 days in isolation, and it was really rough to spend it on the beach of Negril, as you can see. You know, it was a real hardship, and I somehow missed that hardship of self-quarantine on the beaches. And that's 7 Mile Beach in Negril. And unfortunately, all the hotels closed, and most of them are now closed for the next 4 months, with what's going on with the coronavirus. So, however, I encourage all of you guys. It's one of the most beautiful. It's one of the top 10 most beautiful beaches in the world. And so, if you guys ever get a chance to go to Negril, and some of that amazing water you can see is in the background, and that's a photograph that I took while I was there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just as a reference to our viewers and a bit that I know about your background that they might not be aware of is when you say that you've crashed, you achieved some pretty significant milestones in your life. You know, multi-million dollar base and family development along the way as well. So you've got 6 kids, I believe. Is that?
I have 6 kids, and I went through a lot in terms of not be able to get access to them, some false accusations, false criminal accusations, and I finally got clear of the court, got my kids back, was awarded one of the few people ever in Canada to have a reverse of custody. When I got my kids back, they were unfortunately very long gone. I had to make some tough decisions, whether to send them back to their mom or to have them perhaps be very suicidal, or to send them into a psychiatric ward. And I think I made the right choice. We'll see. Life will tell. To send them back to their mom to perhaps save their lives.
Yeah.
And
Thank
that
you.
unfortunately was there. And in terms of money, I've had, I was a millionaire before at about age 40, in my 40s, and I lost it all. And So I've seen some rough times, and I think it was because of myself and because of my limiting beliefs why I lost everything. And so I've in my quest I found this out, and I'd like to share with people what they can do to prevent themselves from actually achieving everything that they want in their life, and then crashing, or being able to move forward and achieve what they want to achieve.
No, that's great, Mark, and I'm glad that you referenced that because it really does provide a foundation and a background for your sharing from a place of having experienced it and your own personal journey to get there, and it brings in that level of authenticity and expertise that really can't be matched for people not having had that experience. So can you go ahead and share with us then what you have, Mark, in terms of you've put together just an outline of some of the things that you're working on, and I'll let you share that with our viewers.
Yeah. So what I came up with is the following that was very important. Um, Here you can see, and I'm on the screen here, it's what I came up with is four levels of self-development. So we're all moving through, and I'm here on the screen, you're only seeing here level 2, level 3, and level 4 of consciousness. Level 1, which I'm not showing, there are people who are unconscious. And those are people who are just unaware. And so really what I'm really want to focus on addressing are the people who might be a level 2 or level 3. The people who are level 4 are the people who perhaps have it all. And one of the most important things in each of these levels I've been able to is to look at two parts of self-development. One is a conscious mind, one is a subconscious mind and spirit, and then the end products of each of those. And so if you're level 3, you'll end up with a loving inner world. If you're level 2, you'll have good fundamentals. And then a level 4, you're on your spiritual quest and you have self-mastery. And a lot of the things between your conscious mind improving in self-development, a lot of what we're doing is improving our conscious mind. We have your 100% responsibility, or you become focused, have affirmations, or we're using visualization and mental rehearsing, or getting action feedback, or having more compassion. I think the real improvement, though, and what is really, really missing is the fact that about 95% of our life is actually ran by our subconscious mind. And this is kind of the view of it. If you can see underneath the ocean where we are, is that your 5% is your conscious brain activity. And that's where the majority of self-development is focused on at the moment, just on the 5%. What most people are missing is that 95% of our life is actually run by our subconscious brain activities. And therefore, if you want to change your life, you need to focus on the 95%. And so until we start changing our limiting beliefs, or until we start changing our self-identity, until we start changing the habits and routines of what we're doing, we won't actually change ourselves. We'll just continue repeating things in a different, more elaborate way. And I think that's what really happened in my life, is that I thought I was changing, but I wasn't. I was more aware, but I wasn't changing. And so I would encourage a lot of people to look at how you change your subconscious mind. And what I've found out is that on the subconscious level, there are three ways of really changing your subconscious. One is using hypnosis, the other is through repetition, and the third is through what they call psychological or energy psychology. And these are things like Psych-K, EFT, emotional freedom technology, or in our case, I've just recently learned RIM by Dr. Deborah Sandella. And so these are ways of changing your mind, instantaneously changing your subconscious mind. Now, most of us are not, we'll try something. And for example, a very, very illustrative case of this is for most people who have a habit, let's say a smoker. A smoker is trying to quit. We all know what we need to do. He needs to quit and he's unable to quit. And the first thing in trying to quit smoking is that you need to change your self-identity or any self in your habits. And most of us don't do that. The first step is to change your identity. And so a non-smoker will say, I don't smoke. A smoker will say, in his self-identity, I'm a smoker, I'm trying to quit. And you can see the difference there. A smoker, non-smoker is saying, I don't smoke. A And that's his self-identity, while the identity of a smoker is I'm trying to quit. And so that's the first step. The second is through repetition. We all know, I'm going to tell you exactly what we need to do here, is that you need to change your subconscious on the things that you're doing now. And so, for example, exercise, for example, many of us don't exercise as much as well as we'd like to do, or sleep, or eat. And we all know what to do. We know we need to get 7.5 hours sleep. We need we can choose. We know we can choose to eat properly, nutritiously. We know we can go and have movement and do exercise, and we don't. And why is that? It's because our subconscious patterns, our self-identity tells us that we're this is not what we should be doing. We're not worth it to receiving the exercise. We're not worth it. Our core beliefs, our four core beliefs, and I emphasize that in essentially two of them. Marissa Peer is really good, is that I'm not enough, and the second is not I'm not loved and lovable. And in most instances, the reason why we don't focus on our fundamentals is our core belief, which is in our subconscious, is saying I'm not lovable, I am not worthy. And until we change those subconscious beliefs, we will continue not to do what we're supposed to do. And the easy thing is just to change them, and they can easily be changed. It takes time to change, either through repetition. So, for example, is I'm not enough. You can use and write it everywhere. I'm not enough. I'm not. I am enough. I'm enough. I'm enough. And you can do that. Or if I'm love and lovable, is to practice every day in the mirror every night. We have that mirror exercise. You can look in the mirror, think of all the great things you've said and done for yourself, and repeat that. And the other very important exercise I've seen is to have self-compassion for yourself. A very, very important route of loving yourself is to know that you are lovable, and to give yourself compassion when we don't do things perfect. So I think that understanding, though, that the missing link is that we're so focused on our conscious awareness that we're not addressing the subconscious to change our behaviors at our subconscious level.
So, Mark, I'm going to bring you back high level because you
Sure,
have just brought in so much information here. And I'm looking at all of the references that you've made, and there's so many things that can be shared with our viewers and our listeners. And one of the things I might recommend is, if you follow up with a couple of those references that you've made here, I can put them in the show notes at the bottom of the video when this is over, in addition to contact information. But
sure.
at the very high level, what you're sharing, and what you're making us aware of, is that the conscious mind does not allow us to create the significant change that we might want to have in our lives. It's really at the subconscious level that the significant changes happen. And the conscious mind might have that awareness of the principles, techniques, tools out there, and applying them might begin to affect some of the subconscious. What are and one of the tools that you're using is called RIM, uh,
Yeah,
regenerating images. Yeah.
yeah. So I think, and it's a good thing, Stu. One of the important little links there that I failed to mention is that the way the conscious mind learns is different from the way the subconscious mind learns.
Hmm.
And so we believe by reading and knowing and understanding and becoming aware of what to do, that our subconscious mind automatically learns it. But that's not true. Our subconscious mind only learns through repetition. And so if we have learned something, and in order to do it, we need to redo it at least 21 times. And you've heard that it takes 21 times to change a habit. In my case, in many of the things I found out, it took 68 days for one habit. It took 90 plus days for another, because they're so ingrained sometimes that it takes a lot of effort of repetition, of going and changing that behavior. And in effect, what we're saying is that when you change your behavior, if you want to run, go and run for 21 consecutive days. And by changing your behavior, you then change your self-identity. And that's one way of doing it, is through repetition. The other way is through REM, as you mentioned, which is to help to change to replay a lot of where we developed earlier, that core belief of that false belief about ourselves. And we can go back through using RIM to change that. So uh, it's a little bit off topic here. However, I wanted to emphasize what you wanted to say was that it's really the conscious mind learns one way, the subconscious mind learns in another way. And we have to recognize we need to teach what we learn on a conscious level in a manner in which the subconscious can learn it. And until we do that, no matter how much we tell ourselves that uh, we should ourselves to death, that we should be running, that we should be eating properly, we should be sleeping properly, we should be going out there and challenging the world, we should be beating our fears. All of those things cannot be done until we understand that we only can do this by changing the subconscious level. And we do that through either repetition, some form of hypnosis, of which RIM is a form of hypnosis, but Ericksonian hypnosis, or energy psychology model. So those are three ways you can do about really changing your behavior and moving forward on the self-development scale.
Oh, so powerful. So many things that you've shared today, and we could take each of them and go in depth in topic. This is more of just a high level introduction to folks. Is there anything that you might want to share with our viewers at this point, Mark, that would be a single point of reference, a website, a book, an aha, or a takeaway that we can leave folks with today?
Yeah, I hate to be self-promoting, but a lot of what I'm doing is actually available for free on my own website, on my own blog, www.markhughsam.com, and I think that is a good place to start. And from there, I've shared freely a lot of other resources for you to follow up through this. And one of the things in the next few weeks, I hope to be writing about a lot of the concepts here shared, and so you'll be able to read a lot more about that. And I hope you will be able to benefit, because I know that once you start changing, and I've seen the same thing, to have that inner peace, that inner loving world, that's a point of where I am now. And where I'm now going is into stage 4. And I believe all of you can actually do it too. If I can do it, you can too.
Oh, that's awesome. And I thank you again so much, Mark, for sharing that, and any references to how to get in touch with Mark, myself, or some of the material that Mark has mentioned will be in the show notes at the bottom of this link on the YouTube video, or in the show notes on a podcast soon to come out. I thank the viewers for taking the time to listen to us today, and Mark, I thank you very much for being here and for sharing this with us. Um, yeah, absolutely awesome material, great stuff. I know some of the references that you made are linked to deeper material and a lot of other
And
practices.
I great, and thank you all guys for listening. Thank you, Stu. This has been wonderful, and I will share some of those other links to in the bottom with you, Stu, if you can share with the audience of the deeper material of where a lot of where I learned what I
Absolutely.
learned. Thank you.
Be safe, be well, enjoy Jamaica. I'm somewhat envious. I'm in Wisconsin, and the weather's not quite as nice, and I'm not ready for swimming just yet. But we can do those dog walks in the spring morning. So
All right, take
thank you so
care.
much. Stay healthy.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye.